Take a look at this. It's the Olympic torch making its way to the Beijing competitions. They're already underway at their Winter Games, but the opening ceremony is tomorrow. You know, it's been a very long road to the Chinese capital, and no one knows it better than the athletes and other people who are attending the games, like, our Jamie Yuccas. She has navigated a strict and complicated bubble that China put in place just for this pandemic. So she documented her stressful journey, and she says stressful is the word, all the way from L.A. to Beijing.
The skies over Beijing sparkling all week with rehearsals of Friday's opening ceremonies. The athletes are settling into the village, but also in the starting blocks, anxiety and COVID concern. Everyone headed to the games had to make serious preparations.
I just got to the testing center, which is just about a half mile from the airport. We have to get a test at 96 hours out and 72 hours out. So this is my first of two before I leave in a couple of days.
Getting to the games required a series of invasive tests and 2 weeks of health monitoring using a Chinese-created mobile app.
Not nice for me.
The negative test results and other health data had to be uploaded and reviewed by Chinese organizers.
I've got all my health declarations and paperwork, negative test. I am headed to Air France.
Finally approved, we could board our flights, but flights that were restricted to carry only Olympic participants and that would deliver us directly into the Beijing bubble. During a layover in Paris, we bumped into Nicole Severa from Brazil's skeleton team.
The last 2 months specifically, I think, have been even harder, just trying to just hide from COVID. We knew we qualified, but we couldn't really celebrate.
Final passage, a 10-hour flight complete with onboard temperature checks.
Thank you.
We just got off the plane. We were temperature checked on the plane. We're now going up, starting our series of procedures. Airport greeters in full PPE garb escorted us through a final series of health checks and throat swabs. Fail here, and it could mean days of isolation. After 2 days of travel in the home stretch, waiting for our luggage, we met the Jamaican bobsled team, who agreed it was an Olympian effort just to get on Chinese soil.
I think I had to do 5 tests before I could even get on the plane, so it was always like a real tense moment. You never know what the outcome was going to be, but now that we're actually here, it's absolutely amazing.
The airport testing has proven to be where most of the positive cases have been detected. American bobsledder Alana Myers-Taylor was among those positive. She's now isolated from her 1-year-old son, who traveled alongside her, desperately waiting to clear protocol.
People are well spaced out.
Dr. Brian McCloskey chairs the medical panel advising the Beijing organizers. He says it's a 3-tiered approach.
The testing process, it gradually takes people out of the system. So the pre-departure testing, the airport testing, and then the daily testing in the closed loop. At each of those levels, people who might be becoming infectious are identified. So by the time we get to the closed loop, it's a very low level of people testing positive.
The closed loop, aka the bubble. Secure buses to and from venues and hotels. Plexiglass between workspaces and dining tables. Robots cleaning the floors and serving meals. No contact with anyone from mainland China. And yes, more testing every day.
We're almost to China.
Many athletes consider it a win just to get past the battery of tests and pre-games challenges, posting with pride.
I don't like the tests any more than I did the first time, but we feel super safe here just with everything involving COVID, and at least I'm super grateful that these games can still happen.
It's on to the competition, while organizers hope their own Olympic prep pays off on keeping the bubble clean.
Talk about an anxiety-inducing trip. I really lived in my own bubble before the journey, keeping my distance from many family and friends, or making them keep their distance from me. I didn't even go to the grocery store, you guys. It was like March 2020 all over again. And now that we're in this Beijing bubble, where many of us are using burner phones, there are several questions about how the Chinese may use all of the health and personal data that's being collected. Nate?
Jamie, thank you so much. So, Jamie, as you're sitting there going through all of these tests, do you feel like they have everything in control, or as much as they can?
I have to tell you, now that we're on the ground in the Beijing bubble, I feel so much better. I think I felt so anxious. I was so upset. I had my therapist, Cynthia, on speed dial while I was in the United States because there's such a hodgepodge of rules. Now that you're here, you have to follow the rule book. Everyone wears a mask. There's the plexiglass between everything. We're getting tested every day. There is a little bit of calm each day as those tests come back and they're negative.
I can't wait to see the coverage. Jamie, I can't get over those deep dive nasal swabs that they do. You know, that's like back old school where it feels like it's hitting your brain. A, do you feel it was worth it? Clearly, I think you do. And I can't wait to see your coverage.
Well, thank you. I always go into these assignments thinking, in 10 years, will I look back and be upset if I didn't go? And so I'm glad to be here. It's a historic games. You know, there's been many lead up to what's going to happen here. I'm also excited to see lots of the athletes as they compete. We're already seeing, you know, them trying to get into some of the competition. We've got curling, luge going on. Women's hockey is about to start. So it should be really good games to watch.
Yeah, good.
Jamie, I'm glad that you're finally settled. We had lunch right before you left, so I'm glad that you're doing good. Jamie Yuccas in Beijing. We'll be right back.